Hello everybody, and welcome to the first of many bass tutorials. Today we will be going in depth on how to set yourself up and how to play your first exercises and songs. If you enjoy what you see today, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. So to start off, we're going to look at what the bass is. Alright, so let's start all the way up here at the top. This is the headstock of the bass. Now mine might be different from yours, as I play a Music Man Sterling, which is a very nice instrument, but they have a 3-in-1 layout. You may have 4, you may have 2-in-2. It's all the same, though. What you're going to do, these pegs help you with your tuning. This is where a lot of your very important stuff goes on. This is where your strings hold, and this is where you tune. Now, moving down the neck, down here, we move to the neck. This is your neck. This neck is a bolt-on neck, and you can tell that because there is this plate right here. On some instruments, they are attached on. The majority of basses are bolt-on, and either way, it is a much cheaper way for manufacturers to make these necks. Now, the neck is a very big thing, and if you're buying a bass, you really want to focus on your neck, because you're going to be using your neck pretty much every time, because that is where you put your fingers. Now, there are 2 pieces of wood on the neck, and I'll put up a picture on the screen now, but there are 2 different pieces, and you'll really be able to see that. There's your neck, and then there's your fretboard. There's a color difference, which you will be able to see, and that is how you will know. The frets are these silver things right there. Those are your fret wires. And that is where each fret goes. There's dots on the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 12th, and there's double on the 12th because that is your octave. And they keep going up in that sort of pattern. Now, the fretboard is a different piece of wood, as I said before. Why is that? There is another thing in here which you can't see, but it is called the truss rod. And that truss rod straightens or bends your neck. Which is sometimes referred to it as action, as how high or low your strings are. Now, there are 2 ways that the truss rod is tended to be put in. One, which is how this one is, which is the fretboard is made on one piece of wood, the neck is made on another piece of wood, and the truss rod is inserted to the neck, and then the fretboard is laid on and glued on. And that is what has happened here, and as you saw by that picture, it is very smooth. But there is another way, which is very common in Fender basses and instruments. So right here I have a Fender Stratocaster, which is a very nice guitar. And as you can see along the back of this instrument, there is this stripe. And that stripe is very important because what is under that is that truss rod. That truss rod is on here, under there, and they put the neck and the fretboard together first, and then they inserted the truss rod later by taking out that piece of wood and inserting the truss rod. So, moving down from the neck, we have our main body. Now, every instrument's body looks a little different, such as my bass is quite large. When it comes to the body, it is solid oak, so it is quite heavy as well. On the body, you have a few different things. This is the pick guard. Now, as bassists, we don't tend to use picks, although it is an option. There are many famous bassists that do choose to use a pick, but I personally do not, and it is honestly up to you. I use it sometimes if I need to. On the body, but that pick guard, it's there for everyone. This is the Music Man pick guard. You saw it on the guitar. It's different for everyone depending on the shape. Now, attached to the pick guard, you have your pickup. There are 3 main types of pickups. There's the jazz pickup, precision pickup, and humbucker pickup. The jazz pickup is what you will see on most jazz-style basses, such as the Fender Jazz bass and a lot of Ibanez basses. There should be a picture up on the screen now, and they're just that one little strip with coils. Almost like guitars, it's like a single coil pickup. Just one set of magnetics. Then, there are precision pickups, which are mainly found on the Fender P bass, or Fender Precision bass. But they are on a variety of others as well. Those are just the most common. Finally, there are humbuckers, which you can see on my bass right here. I only have one humbucker, some have two, most have two, some have one. It changes. But humbuckers, in my opinion, are pretty amazing. I mean, all bass pickups are great, but humbuckers were invented mainly because of guitar. Because electric guitar has been around about as long as electric bass, maybe slightly longer. But we have adapted. So on guitars, when you would play the single coil, you would hear some buzzing. And that's because of how the magnets work. So humbuckers were created because, as you can see on my bass, there are 2 lines of magnets, and there are 4 of them. There are 4 of them because each magnet is the single pickup. That is what the strings vibrate on. Now, with these 2 lines, one is facing one direction, one is facing the other. What this does is it creates a going circular pulse, rather than everyone going the same way. When they're all going the same way, this causes that humming because there's feedback between the 2, and they're all pushing together. All technical magnetic stuff. Now, this would be very easy to learn on, just as any other would. But they are very great in my opinion. So, now, on every instrument there are some knobs also. As you can see on mine, there are a lot. So mine is what we call an active bass. That means that on the back of it, there's a battery pack, and you can put a 9-volt battery in, and it allows you to set up your EQ, which we will go over when we get to the amplifier. So, I can set all the EQ, so I believe it's treble, mid, bass. So I can adjust things, maybe the other way around. I still don't even know. I don't even use it. I leave it how it is, because I don't need it. My tone is the way this is. Then there's this main knob right here. This is our volume knob. We can adjust our volume, which we will also get to when we get to the amp, on how loud you want to set. But honestly, it's just up to you. If you have just one knob, like if you have a Fender Jazz Bass, Squier Jazz Bass, Precision Bass, I believe also, they only have one knob. If it's a passive bass, there's only one tone knob. And that tone knob is just the general tone. So for that, I recommend set it 12 o'clock on your instrument. Just straight down, straight away from you. And it's going to be your best bass tone. But yeah, that is the bass. Let's move on to the amplifier. So for the amps, I own a Fender Rumble 100. This amplifier is fairly expensive, and it is a large amp. So you don't need something as intense as this if you're a beginner. You should just go for the Fender Rumble 25 or smaller. You don't need a huge amp if you're not going to be gigging. So you can learn about more different types of amplifiers and what I recommend on an upcoming video. But let's just go over everything that's on the amp. So my amp, much different than what you will end up needing, and there's a lot more settings. So first, we have, and it's going to blur a little bit, so I'm going to try and fix that. We have our input. And this right here, it's labeled input, so you should be fine with that. But that's where your cable goes, which we'll get to in a minute once we're done going over this. Then we have our gain. Don't mess with the gain. That's for performances. You don't need it. Then I have some effects here, but you shouldn't have to worry about that. Now, what's really important? Our equalizer. So the EQ should be set initially like that. It is straight 12 o'clocks. And I will show you what I can set, but because this camera gets kind of blurry, I'm going to suggest look at the picture that I am uploading on the screen right now. Then you have our master volume. Nah, doesn't really change. So, let's hook up our bass and see what we got. Alright, so now you've set up your bass, you know what everything is on your bass, and you've looked at your amp. What are you going to need? Well, not that much. You're going to need your strap, a wire, which you can see here, and I have a lot of them all around. Some But those are really, really, really important because you can't play without them. And you're going to want your amp. And that's it. Simple, right? Yeah. So, now that you're all plugged in and ready to go, let's go. So, you're going to want to turn on your amp. And the first thing you should do every time you turn on your amp and you want to play is tune up. So, you probably want a tuner once you start. Once you get better, you don't need one. But I'm going to pull up a tuner on my phone. There's some great apps. There's Fender Tune and there's Guitar Tuner. I'm going to use Fender Tune for this. What we're going to do is we go on the app, which should be on the screen now, and it shows you exactly what you want. So you can choose between all these sorts of stuff. And so there's different strings. And so I'm going to put this on down on my amp, and I'm going to play my E string, which is the closest string to you. You have to also adjust your volume. Don't forget about that. And on my screen, as you can see, it says 2 flat. So now what you do is you take this tuning head, which is the one closest to you, that is your E. You then adjust it counterclockwise. And you play until you get that green, and there you go. So, let's do it for the rest of our strings, and then we'll be good to go. Now that you're done tuning, let me just give you a little sound bite of what it should sound like when you're done. This should be your E string. That should be your A. This should be your D string. And this should be your G string. There you go, you're all tuned up. Now you're ready to play whatever you want. I hope you enjoyed today's video. For more content, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. If you have any more questions, make sure to drop them down in the comments. And join my Twitch streams. I stream bi-weekly, and I'm always answering questions about any sort of bass playing. So you can find me there, 80 BPM Bassist, on Twitch. I stream bi-weekly. Check me out. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good week.